Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So hopefully you saw my most recent video last week about John Venus, making that video about him, why he's no longer vegan, because he saw there's conflicting studies, wasn't sure what to do. He had a kid, he wasn't sure if the kid should be vegan, so John thought he himself shouldn't be vegan, and he had some like judgmental friends. Anyway, John, unbeknownst to me, has a brother who's also vegan and a medical doctor, and made a response video to his own brother. So I thought this should be pretty good, and thank you guys for letting me know about this video from Dr. Leo Venus. So let's jump in and have a look.
So as many of you are aware, my brother John recently posted a video where he announced to the world that he is no longer vegan, and as is naturally the case, over the last 24 hours I've been bombarded with questions on all platforms asking me what's going on, is John doing okay, why is he no longer vegan, what are his health concerns, are you still vegan, all that kind of stuff. So first let me just say, John has asked me not to talk about his health concerns publicly. He has made it very clear in his video.
All right, let me stop right there. So his brother's a medical doctor, like I said. So yeah, on a professional level, his brother here shouldn't be discussing private information, client information with the world at large. However, notice how his brother here, Leo, said John's health concerns, not health issues or problems, just health concerns. And John did talk about his health concerns in his last video where he talked about why he's quitting vegan. Like I said earlier, he saw conflicting studies with conflicting conclusions about vegan diets. So he said, I'm just going to throw my hands up in the air and not be vegan. I don't know why that seemed like the logical choice for him. But if John had any health issues, yeah, he's under no onus to reveal all that with us in the public here. But as I said, it would have been helpful, some transparency as to what might be going on health-wise. So anyway, I just want to draw that distinction there between health concerns, which John did talk about, and potential health issues that John may or may have never had. We don't know. He didn't talk about them. Anyway, let's continue.
He does not want his health information to be public information, and as his brother, I totally respect that. As a medical doctor, I totally understand that. Some people don't want their health to be public. In fact, most people do not want their health information to be public information. So that is totally understandable. All I can say is I'm not worried about John's health, and I'm not really worried about anyone else's health.
Well, that gives some insight there, Brother Leo here. If you're not worried about John's health, that pretty much tells us there's no great health issue that John is experiencing right now. So it sounds like he's in pretty good health, as I first had guessed. So let's see what else Leo says.
In the family. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of response videos. I'm not interested in any of that. I love John to bits. I love Catherine. I love Noah. We're still going to continue being a happy family, and nothing can change that. Now,
that's good. Yeah, I would hate to see a family that was otherwise getting along well split up and hate each other because John's no longer vegan, and I assume his wife is no longer too. I know you guys follow them more than I do. I don't think I've ever sat through and watched the whole John Venus video. Other than the one I responded to last week.
Obviously, John has had his doubts for a while about...
Yeah, that's what I heard. I remember watching the video from like a year and a half ago where John said, I'm just going to eat eggs now all of a sudden for no apparent reason. I just think maybe I'll feel a little bit better or something. So yeah, obviously he's been... And before that too, like a year before that even, he made a video, why I'm no longer vegan. And that was all about how he didn't want to call himself vegan anymore. So yeah, he's been kind of on this weird outside, like, leaving vegan path for a bit.
About this lifestyle, and I've had to say this before, that just because we are brothers does not mean we have to be on the same page about absolutely everything. John is his own man, and he makes his own decisions, and of course this isn't going to look the best for the vegan movement for a while, but it's not that big of a deal. We still have the science, we still have a ton of people, and the anti-vegan movements, I'm sure there's a lot of people there celebrating that John is no longer vegan.
Yeah, I haven't watched the anti-vegans, but I'm sure they're celebrating. But what Leo said before that, I agree 100%. Nothing's changed. Just a vegan bodybuilding influencer is no longer vegan. But I mean, all the science still stands, and all the other like thousands or hundreds of vegan influencers that are eating balanced, sensible vegan diets, such as myself, aren't quitting veganism. Nothing's changed. So yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I can already see it in my mind's eye. These anti-vegan clowns making videos. Veganism's falling apart one by one. They're all leaving. Like, no, a few influencers leave, but for every influencer from like YouTube or Instagram that leaves being vegan, we get another 100 people, new vegans that you've never heard of before, who maybe become influencers later on. But veganism is growing, is the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, let's see what else he says.
But they always like to tout this thing, vegans are following this ideology, we're all religious, this is the reason we're doing it, we're too emotional, too irrational to actually follow the science. But this is not the case for myself. Veganism is not some kind of cult or some kind of religion or whatever anti-vegans like to make it out to be. At its core, as I've discussed many times, vegan is a moral stance, a moral philosophy. You either agree with it or you don't. And the moral stance is that it's immoral to needlessly kill, exploit, and torture animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. You either agree with that or you don't. It's not a religion. It's you either believe that or you don't. So anyway, let's see what else. And for a lot of people I know, it is precisely the science that actually got us involved in veganism. It was actually the research that pulled us in. Well, I'll stop Leo there. People come to veganism for a variety of reasons, usually one of three reasons. One is for the moral argument that I just put there. People just somehow, like me, one day I just realized, hey, it's wrong to kill animals in order for me to live when I can choose a way of living that doesn't involve killing animals. That's what pulled me in. But the longer I stayed, I learned about, it's actually really good for my health, the science that Leo's talking about here. And it's also really good for the environment, such as the case is the United Nations has said that greenhouse gas emissions, the number one source of them is from animal agriculture. And furthermore, if we want to have any chance of fighting climate change on a mass scale, people need to eat vegan or more vegan, and soon. And they ranked diets as being greenhouse gas friendly, and no surprise, vegan was number one, vegetarian was number two. But I'm saying it's just a win-win-win. It's a win for your health, win for the environment, win for the animals. And it doesn't matter which one brings you in first. Just come, learn more. And anyway, let's see what else Leo says. To this movement, and this is what I do. I am a medical doctor. I have a long background in science, and this is what I'm good at. It's understanding the science. It is actually looking at the research and coming to the most rational conclusions. And well, I agree with Leo there. I mean, it's just a win in all areas for health. So I'm just kind of puzzled why John didn't have any discussions with Leo. Maybe they did, and we're not hearing about him. If John had questions and concerns about how to understand the science, because last time I recommended that John talk to, like, say, Dr. Garth Davis, someone that could help John with the science and how to understand how there's science that says other types of diets might be better for you and see where their funding and all comes from. I'm surprised Leo didn't have this conversation and get it through John's skull that the preponderance of the scientific evidence says that vegan diets are adequate, nutritionally adequate, and healthy for all people in all phases of life. And in the almost 8 years of being vegan that I've gone through now, I still to this day have not seen a single logical argument for why everybody could not follow a vegan diet. Yep, I agree 100%. I am still waiting to see the argument that debunks veganism on a health standpoint, environmental standpoint, and it's a slam dunk on the moral argument that I presented earlier. Let's see what else Leo says here. I'm liking his presentation here very much. It's cool. It's nuanced. He's trying to keep the family happy and peaceful, yet presenting the logic as to why veganism is a no-brainer win. So in terms of my position, guys, I'm still where I've always been. I have not changed my position at all. And as a scientist, I'm always remaining open-minded. This is one of the things, the fundamental pillars of science, that if better information comes in, you have to be available to change your mindset. And I am very open-minded in that way. I'm always challenging people to send me information regarding why vegan diets could not work. But every single time somebody has sent me information of the allegedly why the vegan diet cannot work, why it cannot be adequate, why it cannot be optimal, when I sit down and I look at the research, when I look at the science has been on the side of veganism every single time. And for those of you who aren't good at looking at the research, for those of you who don't like looking over studies and devouring the literature, it doesn't have to be that difficult. Just
Can't wait to see what he says here. But yes, I've covered this many times. You'll see these headlines in the media like, oh, eating vegan destroys your brain, or researchers find that going vegan makes you lose your hair or makes you crazy or whatever. And once you look at the studies, either how they're designed or how they were funded by the meat and dairy industries, you'll see that these studies are outliers too. They're not the preponderance of the evidence. The meat or dairy industry paid researchers to produce studies that produce the conclusions that the meat and dairy industries wanted. Anyway, let's see what Leo says.
Take a look at the people who are spearheading the anti-vegan movement. Not to be offensive, but they're all clowns. Now look at the people who are spearheading the vegan movement, right? And then more importantly, look at the information that the anti-vegan circles are using to back up their claims. And then look.
Yeah, I'm not even going to give any of these anti-vegans any credit there, but you've heard some of this complete nonsense that comes from the anti-vegans, especially I think you're talking about the social media anti-vegans. It's just complete nonsense. Anyway, let's continue on.
And then look at the information that the vegan movement uses. You don't have to be a genius to understand basic nutrition, and you don't have to be a genius to look at what information is reliable, who seems to have dropped the ball, and who seems to actually know what they're talking about. It's not that difficult. So if you have your doubts about veganism, if you are in fear about everything or anything, send me the research, send me the evidence, send me the facts that you're worried about.
Yeah, you can send it to me too. I'm sure Mike the Vegan would love to see it. But yeah, send it to Dr. Leo Venus here. Like, as he said, everyone's, anytime someone says, oh, I found some studies, some information that casts the nutritional adequacy, the healthfulness of veganism into doubt, send it to one of us. I'd love to see what Dr. Venus says. In fact, I want to watch more of his videos now. I didn't know he does debunkings too, like I enjoy doing.
All right, this is what it's about, is looking at the evidence. It's not just listening to what people are saying. It's look at the evidence. Send me some objective facts on why you are worried. Because like I said, on the 8 years that I've been doing this, I've never seen a good scientific reason for why everybody couldn't be vegan. So that's all I can really say about this matter. When it comes to vegans versus anti-vegans, one is based on fact and science and evidence. The other one is based on fears and tradition. Especially tradition is used as a very heavy sticking point in the anti-vegan circle. So really, that's all I want to say. In the end of this video, I want to end on an optimistic note by saying that veganism has never been this strong. It's easy to get bummed out when you see stuff like this, but never has there been as many people open-minded towards veganism. There haven't ever been as many people open to trying vegan alternative products. There have never been.
Yeah, I mean, this just goes without saying. I mean, every year when we go to vegan festivals like LA Veg Fest, SoCal Veg Fest, they're growing each year. And that, as Leo's talking about here, vegan products. I mean, the biggest IPO of last year was Beyond Meat. I mean, even Wall Street knows, that the future is in plant-based products, alternatives to meat. So yeah, when you hear these clowns, and I like how you call these anti-vegans clowns, because they're just speaking nonsense. They're just circus clowns. And it's kind of funny though, if John is John listening to these, what Leo's calling clowns? Is John getting information from these clowns? Why, John, if you're watching, why aren't you getting information from your very reasonable and rational doctor brother here?
And there have been as many people open-minded to trying more plant-based recipes. And in the West, at least, the trend is overwhelmingly positive towards a vegan diet. So let's stay positive, let's stay evidence-based, and let's not get bummed out about these little things. The future is very, very bright for veganism, and I'm very excited to see where everything is going to go. So like always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I thought he did a fantastic job responding to his brother, not throwing his brother under the bus, being respectful, yet showing why veganism is more powerful now than ever. Even with the loss of his brother to whatever his brother John's going to do now, veganism is stronger than ever. And yeah, I want to add to what Leo's saying there, how it's just, veganism is bigger now than ever, and the movement's grown, there's more people. And I want to add to that, you can, the food hasn't changed. You can still get all the fundamentals of rice, beans, potatoes, the stuff I love to eat, fruits and vegetables, but the plant-based products and alternatives are everywhere. You can go to restaurants, particularly here in California, and it's so easy to find vegan restaurants, and if not, you'll find restaurants that have vegan menus, often cooked on a separate vegan area where the animal cross-contamination doesn't happen. So I'm saying it's easier now than ever to be vegan. You can't use it, oh, it's difficult, society makes it difficult. No, that was true 10, 20, 30 years ago, but now it's easier than ever before. There's no excuses, John Venus. So anyway, guys, leave your questions and comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this whole situation. John Venus, his brother Leo here responding. What are your thoughts about John's quitting veganism? I'm still puzzled. I really think there's something else going on that's not being brought to our attention. I don't think it has to do with medical issues either. I think there's something else. But, you know, all we got was his video there. So anyway, guys, leave your questions and comments down below. Hit like, share this video. Until next time, John and Leo, let's keep it carb, baby. And one last thing before we go, I'd like to give a big shout out to our latest supporters on Patreon. Thanks so much, guys. Karen, Sylvia, Anthony, Amanda, Randy, John, Beth, and Romy. Your contributions help us to bring content out on a regular basis, and you get some cool rewards. So please check out our page on Patreon. Check it out in the link below.